started the first clock? What was that? Who put it into time? How did time come into existence? Was somebody started the clock, tick tock, you know? How was it created? Was there somebody who set the first clock? How did they know what time to set it to? Ever thought about that?
Father Time.
Some old guy with a beard walked down there. It's 6.
Or do you have a clock to check?
Sundial, same thing.
Well, yeah, and you know, you start logically thinking about things and thinking about it in a deeper way. It's like, okay, now, it was man-made. It wasn't God-made. Creation-made. Creation-made is where, you know, the birds, you know, that it's sunrise. It's sunset. That's all they know. And if you watch birds, when it's going to sunset, most birds turn and watch the sunset. They go and sit. It's like giving praise to the sun going down. And in the morning when the sun is coming up, they're always setting to watch the sun come up. Thanking God. Oh my God, I made it through another night and didn't get 8. But I know I'm going on a tangent. I would like to hear from anybody that wants to share anything. I just, sometimes it just starts flowing out and I don't know how it
Or question.
that it's coming from me. You have a question, you said?
No, I said,
Oh.
or question.
Or questions, because then it takes me deeper.
Well, I was just gonna add to, what was your name?
William.
William?
Yeah.
Oh, William, I was just gonna say, to answer kind of the question you had a little while ago, you know, as you finish a lesson, it's kind of happy, you celebrate a little bit, and you've chosen a lot of lessons, so as soon as you finish one lesson, boom, they're gonna give you the next one, and that's why you go, oh shit, what happened? Because it's the next
Right.
lesson, and you want a lot of lessons. Before you came here, you said, I want a lot of lessons. So you finish a lesson, you're happy, you celebrate, boom, teacher takes the old lesson away, bang, slaps a new lesson on you. You know, on your plate. That's why that happens.
Always mastering.
You follow me?
Yeah.
So, and you can talk to them and say, hey, look, give me a day, a week to be happy that I finished this lesson before I start the next. And they'll listen to you.
Okay.
But you have to make that a real clear intent. But probably before you came here, you said, no, I want, give it to me.
See, I could relate to that too. I did the same thing. Until I said, oh, let me get it. I'm done. I surrender, guys. Anybody else? Anybody? You can share anything in this space. It's, that's why I say conversation with spiritual people, because I love hearing conversation. I don't like always hearing my voice.
Well, your point about faith is, go ahead, John. Were you going to say something else?
No, you beat me to the punch. I'll get to it.
All right. Well, I was going to say that faith to me is absolute, and no matter what trials, tribulations, tests you go through. I mean, faith is absolute. Faith keeps you on the straight and narrow, because I know we've all been tested with all kinds of crazy events, occurrences, sadnesses, whatever that might be in our lives, as well as great joys. And you praise the joy as well as you praise the sadness, because it is something, as to your point, and to your point, and to yours, is to move us down that path and to get us to that graduation from the mystery school that we're in and move on to the next lifetime, whether that's back here or to a more advanced school, to where we need to go on to other lessons. And, you know, I had kind of an epiphany today that, you know, through the thousands of lifetimes that's ahead of me, and I can't speak for anyone else, just me, not all those lifetimes are going to be as easy as I have here on earth. And who knows what those lifetimes will entail and unfold for me as I move through and follow this golden chain that connects me back to my origin point where my soul originated. So I've already gone through a big kind of windy road of thousands of lifetimes, And I've got a lot more to go, not only in this universe, but other universes and through the multiverse. I mean, it's quite the journey that I'm going to say that I'm on, because I can't speak for anyone else, but I saw that very clearly in a vision, and that just, to me, speaking of faith, I have absolute faith, even though I'm kind of I got to catch my breath because I see this incredible journey ahead of me. I have absolute faith that I'm going to get through everything unscathed, to your point, Shannon, because we are a soul. We are an aspect of God. We are an aspect of the Creator, and once we tap into and understand our true power, there is nothing going to even dare stand in our way, whether it's darkness or density or whatever that might be. It is the light, and we are called, and we will move forward in that light. Am I sound like a Baptist preacher too?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
It sounds great though.
Yeah.
I like that information.
So faith just crushes fear and crushes everything else, because there is only faith, which is an absolution in the trust of the one true God that we are an aspect of, a part of.
Is that pretty much our ego, too, or not?
Ego?
You know, like, once we are one with God, and we know we are, we believe, because the whole point of faith is pretty much to work your spirit to the point that you believe, and there's anything you're gonna doubt, because it's a knowing
It is
thing.
knowing.
So when it comes out of that way, when we start doubting, and usually we do things to work our spirit. Once you're over that hurdle, you go to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and you start to believe that you can do anything, that you're capable of doing whatever you're doing. And then you see that in other people at the same time, that you don't believe things that you can do, and then you see it in somebody else, and then you say, well, if he can do it, I can do it. But isn't that also our ego that's making us doubt? And we gotta work our spirit to get that belief system, and
Yes.
that's when our faith.
Ego, yeah. When ego shows up, that's the duality. That's where we go, okay, is this right or wrong? Do I actually, is my faith, it's like, but ego shows up, and then we have to look at it. It's another place in our experience where we're going to have the test, if you want to, and that's why I don't like to use lessons, because always at the end of a lesson there's always a test. As I've been on this journey and taken myself through and started looking at the duality of right and wrong, left and right, good and evil, up and down, left and all of that, and started looking at it and having faith, because I have to stay focused on that. That is where I'm going. And I'm an aspect of God, and I am in the one, and even that left or right is still an aspect of God. It is. It just truly is. And everything that shows up in my world is for an opportunity for me to understand something at a greater experience, instead of a lesson, because like I say, for me, and that's my interpretation, I always understood there's always a test at the end of it. Always God's going to come around and bring you back around and say, hey, did you really master that? And then when it comes back around, if I mastered it, if I understood it, how am I going to react to that? And ego will have a response. Faith, our soul will go, wow, thank you. You're awesome. You'll look at it and be in the is with it. Wow, it just is. It's going. And when I work, and I see these guys can contest. There's some really crazy stuff that happens today. They pluck paper out of the seedling. It's been up there forever and throwed it at me, just for the fun of it, I guess. And I thought, wow, that's really fun. I thought it was funny. But, or things get thrown at me or whatever. But it's like, wow, okay, thank you for showing up. You know, if I truly believe God created everything, and I truly am a part of God, even the darkness is part of God. Everything. There's nothing, and there is no duality because it all is.
Yes.
And that's a hard part, that we walk this path and have to have the faith that I know that God, everything that God puts in front of me is a part of God.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to get through it. I know there's a light there, and I'm going to walk. And I don't care how many steps I have to take, that's where I'm going. You know, the third time that I made transition, went to the other side and was walking, and I went to this place called the Valley of the Dead, I guess. That's the only place I know. There was all these people that were walking around that were dead and just were lifeless. And I kept thinking, where am I at? Why am I here, guys? What is going on? And it was just showing the aspect of my ego and showing me an aspect of lost fragments or parts of me.
Mm.
And so I began to throw those parts back at me, and my escort that was escorting me this time over through, and they're like, what are you doing? I said, well, they're my parts. I'm sending them back to me. It's an aspect of God, and they're stuck in this world,
Mm-hmm.
or this dimensional space that's just this, like, you know, it was like the zombies, you know, like I was stuck in the zombie apocalypse or something. It really was. It was the most weirdest thing. I said, God, why did I create this? And God told me it's because you needed to see the aspects of you that you know now, that you make a zombie. And I'm like, oh, I don't do that. I'm perfect. But we don't. We have this shadow side of us that we don't like to look at. But it's in faith. It is in the faith and the walk that we know we can look at it and see. Lots of stuff going on. That we walk through it. We walk through it. And you know, when I made transition the first time, I got turned on, and I see spirits and I see things, and the experience, what I'm talking about. It's like, okay, there's a lot of cuckoo things going on. I am like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I am crazy. This doesn't line up with nothing with my religion at all. The second time, it really took me to another journey, another place, and elevated me and opened me up more. And as I now, it's like, wow, you may see empty seats. I see there's all these beings in here, seen or unseen, because they're here to hear this conversation in my world. Because I don't have duality. Sometimes it makes an interesting ride, and they're willing to drive with me. But fun things happen. Anybody want to share? You want to share? I know.
No, I wanted to ask some more questions about.
Please ask.
About the energies that are coming in here recently, especially over the last couple of months and like this weekend, and the effects on different people, and elaborate on it.
So I will share this because it came through in the radio show. This election in the moon. We've had a lot of sleepers. A lot of people sleeping and being like, oh, it's this, oh, oh. I can go through life and just be whatever. And then all of a sudden, here it is. Here's this negative energy, or actually, I think it's like, wow, here is this master that showed up in this world. People think that he's evil and dump this person, No, why don't you see the energy that has been created? It woke up a lot of people. It brought them out into a place. I don't care what he does. He can't do it. I don't care if he cuts everybody's. We're all poor, and there's indigenous people that live without money and everything. That's in this physical world. If you start really looking into the bigger picture, wow. He woke up a lot of sleepers. People that didn't want to tap into that energy and become awake. They just want to walk around and be asleep. They didn't want to have to participate. They just come here and thought, oh, we're just going to ride this ride, see what God has to come along. And God said, oh, no, you don't get to do that. You're going to participate. So now we have, this is not just here in America, it's around the world. The energy is going around the world of awakening. And there's this massive awakening happening.
Mm-hmm.
We have, and this came through last night, all of the matrix dropped. And we have these cosmic beings now that are allowed now to come into our realm that hasn't been allowed to, because there has been such a awakening happening. It took that moment when they announced Trump to be president that cracked and let the light through. The thing we've been waiting for eons is going to occur. That we get broke out of this so we can go on, like you said, that we get to go on to these other places and galaxies and things that we've been waiting to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because we got trapped here as a soul. I say trapped. We decided to come here and do this dance and say, oh, let me dance in here, let me do this. And, to become enlightened through the ego. And have faith that we can do that. And how do we do that? We have to get rid of the duality, the right and wrong, left and right. Seeing somebody because they're a male or female, that don't work anymore. You can have a female energy in a male's body. They come in to experience that. These cosmic beings that are in now that are just incredible. I call them the ancient ones. And when I was with Pat, we went there. Mm-hmm. We literally went there and had this experience. And they're very powerful beings, and they're high level, and they're here with us. And they have an extraordinary message for humanity, for our souls. And that is where it's not for humanity, it's for our souls. I'm getting cold chills because they're channeling this now. Listen to the message that's been coming through. It's being broadcast now. They're going to really begin to broadcast at a soul level so that you can hear it. And you two can, I know you two can hear, because your guides are like, yeah. And that's part of your jobs. When you show up